Royal Rumble entry participants. This is going to cover both brands. SmackDown, Raw, returns, debuts, legends. There's a total of 30 superstars in this match, but I'm going to do a little bit extra. Obviously, there might be some that might not come into play. I know there's some that are almost guaranteed. I know for sure 4 or 2 out of the 6 NXT call-ups, I see both of these guys partaking in it. Lars Sullivan and EC3, 2 big dudes. Why? I feel like there's a small handful of other superstars that I think would have been great to throw this in here. One of them in particular that really stands out to me, it's Pete Dunne. Look, he might not been part of that whole list of the NXT call-ups, but I still see him going into the Rumble. If you guys remember, a couple years back, actually it was last year, I think there was an NXT call-up that he wasn't really much of a call-up, but he was one of the participants in the Rumble, and then ended up going back to NXT, and then eventually, a couple months later, they ended up going to the main roster. I see him eventually, within the next couple of months, Pete Dunne, he'll come up either to SmackDown, Raw, hopefully SmackDown. Now, I want to start out with SmackDown, the SmackDown Superstars, one of the greatest returns of all time from last year. Rey Mysterio, dude, that was epic. I mean, this guy shook the world. He shook that 30-man Rumble. I think he might have eliminated 2. He didn't eliminate all that much, but the hype and build-up that this man created in the ring, Rey Mysterio's coming back for sure. AJ Styles, he's hopping back on that wagon, on that title run wagon. AJ Styles would need to do some dramatic here to show the reason. I mean, he knocked out Vince McMahon. Oh, he didn't knock him out. He knocked him down on SmackDown, so I think we might get maybe like a heel AJ at the Rumble. Who knows? We're going to find out here soon enough. Samoa Joe, another big participant in the SmackDown division that just really needs to start. Again, they need to start doing something with Big Joe right here. If he was to eliminate a good handful of superstars, I can see him being put up into that level. Randy Orton, dude, this guy has been sadistic. He's just been all out Randy, just destroying every man, especially Mysterio, man. I think he's gotten the worst out of them all. Randy Orton will be in the Rumble. Shane O'Mac always seems to throw himself into big matches. The ones that really come to mind are the Survivor Series matches. He always seems to find a way back in there. And I know he might be a part-timer, but I'm telling you, this guy, if you give him the chance, he'll throw it down. Shelton Benjamin, I have actually started to see him, a little bit more of him. Another great legend in the SmackDown roster that would really just be a nice addition to this. Big Show, too. I know we only saw him when he was helping out the bar, but I think Big Show, just his mass, dude, his sheer mass would just eliminate another, like him. Who's another one? Kane, that would be another great superstar. We'll cover the legends in just a sec, but I see Big Show being in there. Rusev Day, we are getting back into that state, dude. That right situation where he wants to be our new U.S. champion. Who knows? It might be Rusev Day at the Rumble. Shinsuke Nakamura just recently lost the title, so now we need, again, that's another scenario where he has an opportunity to be just in a good spot. I mean, look, the U.S. title, we know it's not the grand prize, or the WWE title. I feel like the IC title over in Raw has been the grand prize as of late. Universal, we're not even going to talk about that. But Nakamura would be in there. Now, the 30 participant in this Rumble, if you guys didn't see the previous pay-per-view, TLC, he did win the Mixed Match Challenge, so he does get the right. So this is an official confirmed entry for the Rumble. Number 30, Jeff Hardy right here, the charismatic enigma. He's still showing that after all these years, he can still hang with some of the best. And you know who's some of the best? Awesome! Miz is still one of the best, not only on the mic, but in his in-ring ability. He's just gotten so good over the years. So him being thrown into the Rumble, dude, that would just go to show you as to what they're. Now, we can't talk about a Royal Rumble without bringing up Kofi Kingston. This guy has had some epic, and I mean, if you go back and watch like the last 10 Royal Rumbles, maybe 8, I think it's been about 8 Rumbles, he's always been the one guy that stands out as to being like, either like almost being eliminated, whether he's like crawling or tippy-toeing around the ring. Kofi Kingston, and you would need the rest of the gang right there of the New Day to make sure that one of these guys, that's the thing about these guys. Anytime they've been in the Rumble together, they've always kind of worked well together. They've never let their the whole titles, even though that's what the grand prize is all about. If you win this, you get a title opportunity. But the New Day have always managed to work well together. Now that we've gotten SmackDown out of the way, I want to talk about some of these legends right here, because these legends are almost a for sure. Undertaker, he's not hanging up those boots anytime soon, and neither is Kane. If Taker's there, Big Red Machine will be there, and look, that last match that they had between Shawn Michaels and Triple H, you know that this is going to be a rivalry that's going to keep growing. Triple H, he might not be 100% quite yet. Actually, I'm pretty sure that he's not in this for sure. HBK, though, on the other hand, and look, he said he might not do it, for a good while. He was beat. I mean, he really took a serious bump at that last match between these two. But right now, they need help with the ratings. Shawn Michaels would help that situation out. Chris Jericho, he is coming back again. It's not a matter as to if, it's more of a question as to when it's going to happen. The one thing that I am going to let you know right off the get-go, he's not bringing back the list. He has confirmed that if he does plan on coming back, he's not bringing back the list. So, he's got something up his sleeves. That's something that I've always enjoyed about Chris Jericho. He's always evolved throughout the years. Now, Kenny Omega, and look, another one that's a big maybe. He's one of these guys that's just been talked about for the last, I feel like 2, maybe even 3 years as to him being a participant in the Rumble. It just needs to happen, man. Come on, Kenny. We know what you've done over there in NJPW. You need to start doing it over here in WWE. Batista, he wants a reason to step back into the ring. Originally, it was going to be him versus Triple H at WrestleMania, but because, again, an injury that really just damaged the whole, script of it all. So, Batista will be in here. This is almost a guarantee. I can almost guarantee you that Batista will be a participant. He's got a nick, man. He's got that itch to get back into the ring and lay it down with the greatest people's champ, The Rock. The Rock is going to be back in here. He's actually, I don't know if it's still supposed to happen because it was going to be him versus Roman Reigns for the title at WrestleMania. So now that Roman Reigns is out of the picture, I still see him being in the Rumble. I still see him being pushed. Another reason why they really need him is, again, for the ratings, because he just brings back not just the legend fans, but just everybody over there that loves him in Hollywood. This guy's all across the board, whether it's WWE, movies, another great entry that would just really help out the overall brand. Now for Raw, we got to start out with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, he would conquer. He's done it all of 2018. If you want to ask if this man can hang with the rest, you go back, you go watch that gauntlet match. He'll let you know what's going down. One of my favorites to actually win the Rumble. Now, right here, Finn Balor, he has brought back the Demon. Within the last few months, he's brought it a couple of times. And if he really wants to do a serious impact in the Rumble, bring the Demon attire. Bring the Finn Balor Demon attire. Maybe bring back something from New Japan. Maybe this Venom one, dude. This Venom is still one of my favorite ones. I think him bringing back the Demon would help out a situation, winning this 30-man over the top turnbuckle. Now these two right here, these are almost like a horse in a carriage. If Drew McIntyre's in there, we know Dolph Ziggler. Well, if he's not even part of one of the participants, I see him going in there and purposely eliminating, costing him, the chance as to main event WrestleMania. But apart from all that, I still see both of these guys being part of the actual Rumble. Braun Strowman is supposed to. Okay, he is in the Universal title match. But one scenario that I actually see playing out, I see him losing the match because I think the 30-man over the top term, this might be the main event. So he might have the Universal title match. He might end up coming shorthanded because, Brock Lesnar cheats or something happens, outside interference. And I still see him. This is kind of the situation. I want to explain this to you because this is the one thing that I see happening. Look, we have a number 30 entry, right? R-Truth. I'm sorry, man. Look, that Mixed Match Challenge, that whole thing was a joke. So I can actually see Braun Strowman maybe attacking R-Truth backstage before actually even starting and him throwing himself into this. Kurt Angle, the Olympic gold medalist, another legend. Look, I'm not throwing him as part of the rest of the legends, but as an actual Raw in-ring competitor. The guy still has it. He says that he was supposed to retire about a year or so ago, but all this love and support that he's getting from his fans, man, this is kind of what feeds him to continue every single night. Bobby Lashley, he'd be in there. He'd be flexing. Constable would be in there. Constable, I don't know why Constable. I'd be shocked. I'd be surprised if the guy would still have a job after all that, what had happened with him, just destroying it wasn't him, man. It was Vince McMahon. But they threw the blame on him. But if he does manage to keep his job, Constable would be in there. Two tag teams that I've picked up right here from watching Raw these last few weeks that they've just been really trying to revival. they're really trying to push the Revival back up to where they should be. No more that Lucha House Party, like no point matches. So the Revival, as well as AOP, I know they've lost the titles, but they are still one of the most dominant teams in Raw. Speaking of one of the most dominant teams of Raw, right here, glorious ones, Bobby Roode, Chad Gable. I know they're the tag team champions, but there's been so many times throughout the years where they've thrown in some of these superstars. They might have had like matches earlier on in the night and still managed to participate in this 30-man over-the-top turnbuckle. Now, this is just some ideas, you guys. I'll give you my overall predictions. I'll let you know as to who will be the last four, the winner of that. We'll do a Royal Rumble prediction later on in the month. For the time being, though, these are just some of the participants that just stand out to me as to why they would be part of the greatest. Who knows? It might be one of the greatest. I hope it's one of the greatest. They really need this to be the greatest Royal Rumble of all time if they want to get those ratings back up. Give me some of your participants that you would like to see. I can almost tell you this right now. There is a lot of guys that you are probably thinking of that are not in here. There were so many to choose from, but these are just ones that really stood out from both brands, as well as legends and returns/debuts. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and we'll see you on the next one.